It is 8:17 on WMAL. Brian Neiman, Brian Wilson, broadcasting live from Tampa, Republican National Convention. And Mary Katharine Ham is in the house.
Good morning.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you doing? How was your trip in to get into East Berlin, as some are calling it?
Festive fortress that we're involved in. I do wish that there was, I know it's modern times, and we can't be all loosey-goosey with the security.
Yeah.
But it does take away from that festive community feeling that you want to have when there are 18 checkpoints before you can get to Radio Row.
I was thinking about this yesterday, and we wanted to walk over to where the actual convention floor is, which is about a block from here. And this is a beautiful facility, but you just can't, walk across the plaza. You have to get in a bus and go through a special bus, that's right. And you had to go around and wend your way through all of this chain link fence and all these barricades just in order to go like 50 yards.
Right, I had to go over there yesterday, and so I asked about 4 different law enforcement officers of different levels. On which side of this fence do I need to walk so that 3 blocks from here I don't run up against another fence that I have to climb and then get arrested by the FBI? So I did make it through.
And if you walk or if you take the wrong bus, then you have to basically go through security again. But if you get on the right bus with, I guess, a Secret Service guy who is watching you get on it.
He watches you because you're in the bubble.
It doesn't make sense.
It's tough. I mean, this is how we have to do things. Well, in that the Glenn Thrush Politico book, they mentioned that Obama had suggested that their team maybe wanted to do 4 different mini conventions, which of course would be like hell on the TV stations and stuff. So the TV folks said, we're not going to do that. But I kind of like the idea of something a little smaller and shorter that you could maybe embrace the people a little more.
Well, I definitely think it should be shorter. But to me, if you got the green zone, then once you're in the green zone, you should be able to move around no matter where you are.
Well, the green zone here is bifurcated.
Yes.
You're right up the middle.
All right, I got to know. So, you were on the show not too long ago, about a month ago, I guess. Where's the doom meter today? And the polls, a little bit of a bounce from Paul Ryan.
Yeah.
We got this hurricane coming, but where's the doom meter for Mary Katharine?
I would say it's at a moderate level right now.
Is it a tropical storm?
Maybe it's the warm weather. I don't know what. It's like Category 1.
It's not a category.
No, it has to be at least Category 2 because just the fiscal cliff requires it. We're at least Category 2, but I'm not immediately freaking out at the moment. So I think we're like at a moderate level. But I loved the Ryan pick. I think it signals we're serious about dealing with some of these issues. I think the fact that I think if you look at the polling, they have fought Medicare to at least a draw, which I tell you what, 3 months ago I would not have imagined that would be the case. I also didn't think 2 years ago we would have won in Wisconsin a couple times. So people are sort of waking up and paying attention.
Although I have to say on the Medicare thing, how hard of a sale is it to the elders, to those who are on Social Security or Medicare, to say everything's going to stay the same for you? Oh, okay. Well, why wouldn't they take that deal?
It is a good deal if you
give it up.
It is a good deal if you believe that. The problem is you've got an entire other team trying to convince them that's not the case. And I have been pleased by that. Now, the Isaac situation is not obviously the greatest messaging device.
We've been talking a lot about that this morning. What do you do in a situation like that? I mean, if it turns out to be a rain event and no great harm, no harm, no foul. But it seems to me it changes the moment that the pictures in New Orleans show people potentially suffering.
Right.
Then it's a different thing.
Yes.
We don't know that's going to happen, but I guess you got to be on guard for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really hope that it is just a rain event. A city that is under sea level, obviously more prepared this time than last time around, so we can hope that things go pretty well there. But yes, the trick for Republicans is that post-Katrina, the neat thing for the media is that every single convention will take place during hurricane season.
Right.
So if there is a threat of any storm, it leads to folks saying, well, this is the shadow of Katrina over that. And that's just something we're going to have to deal with for the next several conventions. So I hope it turns out that it's nothing big, not for messaging, but for people's lives. Right. And I do think that you have to watch tone, probably. If you're on a split screen and Anderson Cooper's hanging onto a lamppost on the other side, you need to be keeping your head about you. But I think that we have some good messengers who are really good at doing that. I think Ryan and Christie in particular are good at sounding. Christie's a tough guy, but he is good at saying, look, these are the things that are important, and I think he'll mention that in his speech.
Neiman mentioned something I hadn't thought about. He said if you have a split-screen situation, it's not all negative, because you're actually also exposing a lot of people who might not otherwise come to convention coverage, but who care about the hurricane, to what's going on in Tampa.
People like me who tune into the Weather Channel just to hear the smooth jazz, the music underneath the weather on the 8s. You know, we love the weather, and we will tune into a weather phenomenon no matter what. You might get some more eyeballs up there.
My father used to watch that channel endlessly, and it was good napping. I think that when the jazz would come on, he would just take his nap.
Yeah, and then they changed it to rock there for a while, and I protested, and they switched it back.
Oh, well, good.
That's good.
So that's working out. So I saw you on O'Reilly last night.
Yes.
You know, you're doing that. That's fun. You're going to be doing that kind of. You were up in the skybox.
We were in the skybox, and I was sitting right next to Juan, so I could elbow him on the set, which was great. I'm just kidding. I don't actually physically assault him.
You should.
Well, it's great to see you.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Well, I hope you come back, and it's going to be a fun couple of days. Now, finally, now that things starting to get going.
As long as they let me through, I'll be back.
Yeah. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
With the nation watching, what are the themes that need to be explored as the GOP gets serious about this convention later this morning? It's all coming up after the news on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Now, live from Tampa, Florida, the 2012 Republican National Convention with Brian and Brian, sponsored by the Media Research Center. 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, bringing it to you live from Tampa, Florida, the home of the convention, which is getting underway in earnest today. There was a little, 15-second ceremony yesterday where they banged the gavel just to make it official. But the speeches begin today, and the highlight, of course, will be primetime speeches by Ann Romney, who will try to put a kinder, gentler face on Mitt Romney, and then followed up by the barn burner that we expect to be delivered by Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey. We're also joined here today, Brian, by our good friend Mary Catherine Ham.
Yes.
Hello
she's smart.
again.
She's wise.
Well, before we get started, I got beat up pretty badly yesterday. You weren't here, but I've been abusing me about my driving skills around Tampa.
Scary. We made it here this morning.
But
yesterday was an adventure.
I have to stop for a moment because I had not yet noticed it. How you've got your iPad over there,
right,
festooned in a lovely festive pink cover.
That's right.
So I'm glad to see that you're a man who's in touch with your feminine side.
He's not afraid.
And
I also have a purple checkered shirt on. Are you going to make fun of me for that, too?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Pink? Really?
It's my wife's iPad, okay? She was kind enough to let me use it for the week so I could keep up to date on all the events, so I could sound like an intelligent human being on the radio. Go ahead, make fun of a woman who's 9 months pregnant at this time. Way to go, Wilson. What kind of a guy are you? This is a woman whose ankles are swollen right now. She's got this baby that she's done together. And it is unbelievable.
Only you would do that. Continues unabated.
Wow. If I were you, I'd get rid of the pink cover. That's just
there goes the name of the kid Brian, that's for sure. I don't have it anymore.
All right, Mary Catherine, what are the themes that have to be hit here tonight? I mean, obviously, everybody says it's the economy, it's jobs, it's the economy, jobs.
Yep.
Is there anything else that needs to be touched upon?
I mean, I think the economy, jobs, and debt and deficit. Those are the top two issues that people care about in every single poll. I don't care how much you want to talk about Sandra Fluke, that she doesn't break the top five when it comes to things people are concerned about. And this is what I think is the real opportunity for the GOP. The contrast between this convention, where, yes, you will be bashing Barack Obama and his failure to make this work over the last 4 years, but you'll be talking about the things people care about. And then you're going to go over to the DNC, and they've got this bizarre, what looks like a college feminist protest of Valentine's Day going on. It's just like an episode of the Vagina Monologues. It's bizarre. And I don't think that that's going to play that well. I think it has the potential to form backlash against them, and I think the only two appealing moderate guys they have speaking that are on the docket thus far, and granted they're good, Bill Clinton and Cory Booker, both have been forced to make hostage videos recant stuff they've said because they're too reasonable for the Obama campaign. Yeah. So I think the contrast will be pretty good. I think Isaac is that's the wild card, and Christie has said he's not going to tone down his speech. It will be a tough speech. It will be a serious speech, but I think he's smart enough to put some, the nice words in there and do what needs to be done. So I think he's good at knowing how to play to the room and know what the appropriate tone should be. So I'm not worried about that. And he should give a tough speech we've got tough stuff to deal with.
Right, exactly.
And Ann Romney, I'm so looking forward to her.
Yeah.
I just think she's great. She lights up a room. She's fabulous.
We've really not seen a lot of her. I mean, people who follow the campaigns closely have seen her and have gotten to know a little bit about her. But I mean, the general public has not got to see much of Ann Romney.
Yeah, and I think she's a great asset. I mean, I think on the stump, she gets used pretty often, as she should, because she immediately connects with people. When she walks in a room and she stands up to start speaking, everybody goes, huh. I mean, she has that thing that you need when you're a public speaker, and I think she'll do a great job tonight. I think, Mitt Romney obviously enamored of her wherever they go, and it plays well and it's cute, and I think she's an incredible asset to him. You
mentioned what's going to happen at the DNC next week. President Obama ran on hope and change, got the hope and change, and really hasn't worked out too much. And the economy, his numbers with the economy, his approval numbers with the economy are well south of 50%. So what's he going to run on? He can't run on hope and change anymore because he's going to have 4 more years. Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to change things, or it's going to stay the same?
He's just going to hope some more.
Or hope some more. So,
that's awesome.
But it is a point of what are you going to do differently in the next 4 years? And it doesn't seem like they have an idea of anything doing differently other than they're going to tax those who make over $200,000 more.
I mean, what's the complaint been the entire time is recalcitrant Republicans. That's been the problem. Well, you had a majority.
You had the time.
You had the time. You had the people. You had a super majority in the Senate. You got to do what you wanted to do, and what you wanted to do was tear us all apart over health care and create rising premiums and something that everyone hates. Yeah. Congratulations. You had 4 years.
Tom Davis, Congressman from Virginia, had a point. We talked to him yesterday, and he said, the thing for President Obama, he gives his speech on Thursday, that following day, the jobs numbers come out.
Yes.
So if the jobs numbers are bad that day, it's going to take,
whatever wind is in his sails.
Hey, what you said is just, we're still well over 8%, Mr. President. What are you going to do?
Well, and I'm just not sure that even when he gives his best speech, and, everybody will be slobbering over it the best they can in the media to sort of give it that same feeling it had in 2008, but he's just not as good at it anymore. It doesn't work the same. People are concerned about other stuff. They're not looking for this giant lofty speech to fix their problems, and he thinks that will do it.
I think likely, though, he will, and to me it's a smart political move. If the hurricane does hit New Orleans on Friday, the day after Mitt Romney gives his speech, he's going to show up there, and he's going to be walking around Louisiana,
Probably.
And that will take some of the talk off of what Mitt Romney said the night before.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case. That's his prerogative as president. If it were President Bush, either way, he would have been pilloried in the media for not landing in New Orleans, for landing in New Orleans, whatever it is.
That's what it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. You're going to make the wrong choice, according to the Democrats and most of the media. So just do what you want to do and to give the speech that you want to give and move on.
I've been sort of looking, though, at the numbers, and I'm sort of impressed that in these battleground states, it's really tightened up. I mean, if you looked at them like 4 or 5 weeks ago, Romney was way behind in a lot of these battleground states. Now it's dead even. Dead even in places like North Carolina and Ohio and Virginia. I mean, really surprising stuff has happened in the last few days.
I think I'm mildly worried by the fact that there's some focus grouping and such that shows that this cancer ad actually works, which is frightening because I don't think we want politics to go down that road. On the other hand, I'm also heartened by the fact that these switching Obama voters, that works really well with swing voters. These ads, the RNC's got one out today, or I think the Romney campaign has one out today called Switchers, which just interviews people who are disappointed. And it's okay to change your mind. I think swing voters need to hear that because what they've heard from the media for 4 years is not backing this guy means you're a terrible person. It's not true.
Apparently there's going to be a mystery speaker here on Thursday night.
What?
Did you hear about that?
No, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, on, I guess Thursday there was going to be, to be announced, and everybody's wondering who that's going to be.
What if it were me and it was, like, super disappointing? Everybody like, haven't I seen her, like, once or twice on TV?
Yeah, could it possibly be? Yeah. Donald Trump was on Cavuto yesterday saying that, they want me down there, and I'm going to come down there. We're seeing him working around. I don't know.
Take everything you hear from Donald Trump with a grain of salt.